Alright everyone, and now today we are back in with another video, and today I just wanted to do a real quick specs comparison between the Pixel 6a and the Pixel 6. Alright, so once again I got everything pulled up on GSM Arena here, and we're gonna go through the key specifications, and I'm gonna share my thoughts and opinions. As always, if this video piques your interest, all the links to the featured devices that I talk about in this video will be available down below in the video description, and the video description will contain affiliated links, meaning that those buy links get me a small percentage of kickback that I do put back into the channel and bringing you guys and gals content, but that's at no additional cost to you guys and gals. I usually don't like doing videos this way, but I figured I'd try it out, try out a different format. I usually like to wait till I have both devices in hand before I talk about the specifications and I give my opinions. But some of these devices, let's be realistic, I'm not going to be able to get my hands on, because when it comes to the YouTube channel, I'm only willing to invest a certain amount of money. It just is what it is. Alright, so I figured this style of video will give me a chance to not only go over the key specifications with everyone, but also give me a chance to share my opinions based on what we're seeing on paper and the videos that I've been able to watch on YouTube and other content creator platforms. Because although I cannot get my hands on particular devices, YouTube is very vast, and I'm fortunate enough to be friends with a lot of content creators on the platform. And there are a lot of content creators on the platform that do create great content that I watch regularly. Alright, so I get to live vicariously through their content. Alright, but you have to take that content that you watch always with a grain of salt, because their experience is not your experience. Your experience is always going to be a little bit different than the content creator that you watch or the person that you watch on YouTube, because everybody uses their devices differently. But I think I'm very objective when it comes to these things. So yeah, that's enough rambling. Let's get into the video. So why have I decided to compare the Pixel 6a and the Pixel 6 today in this video? That is because you can now get the Pixel 6a and the Pixel 6. You can order them today and they will be delivered within about a week's time, but you can get them for what I would consider to be the same price. So brand new, mint condition, you can get the Pixel 6a from Google or sites like Amazon for $449.99, so $450. That does not include taxes, okay? But you can also get the Pixel 6, because they just now deep discounted it for the US. You can get the Pixel 6 for $448.99, so $449. So basically $1 less. Again, this does not include the taxes. So let's go ahead and compare the similarities and the differences, and let me give y'all my thoughts. And as always, feel free to share your opinions down below in the comments. But just remember, guys and gals, we're all grown-ups and we should all be able to share our opinions respectfully. So keep it respectful, please. Alright, so let's get started. So starting off here, we already talked about the price. So you can get the Pixel 6a for $449.99, so $450, or you can get the Pixel 6 for $449. Yeah, $448.99, $449. So there's basically like $1 separating these two, depending on if you want to get it from Google or you want to get it from Amazon. And you can see here on GSM Arena, they're quoting the pricing from eBay and wirelessplace.com, and you can see it's like $100 and like $3 difference between the two, just about. So is it really worth spending that extra $103, or should you be okay with the Pixel 6a? I think that rhymed. Okay, let's move on. But starting off here, they're both running the Pixel experience, so they're both running Android exactly the way Google wants it to be, and they're both running the latest version of Android, and they do have access to the Android 13 beta, which I would not recommend you install, even though you can, because when you want to downgrade, it may potentially boot loop or brick your device. So I would just recommend you stay on the publicly available software, which is Android 11 as of the recording of this video, which is August 30th or July 30th. I'm getting my dates mixed up. I don't feel well, y'all. It is what it is. But let's go ahead and break this down. So both of these devices can be used across any carrier. So CDMA, GSM, Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, it doesn't matter, and any of their MVNOs. So Cricket, Boost, Metro, you name it, it's going to work. And even if you take these devices overseas, they will work on all GSM carriers. So here are the bands, alright? And y'all can see they pretty much have all the bands to work across all the carriers, whether you're using 4G, 3G, LTE, or 5G. Now 5G is more carrier dependent, because we all know Verizon uses different 5G bands than T-Mobile and everybody else, so on and so forth. But here are all the bands, y'all. So when you pick up a Pixel, it should work across all the carriers no matter what. So really happy to report that right there. Let's close this. Now, moving on, let's get into some differences here. Now, for the Pixel 6a, it has an aluminum frame with Gorilla Glass 3 on the front and a plastic polycarbonate back on the back. Now, the way that Google has done this, they've designed the Pixel 6a to where it looks and feels like glass on the back, but it is polycarbonate plastic, similar to what Samsung used to do with their glass stick technology, to where it looks and feels like glass but it's plastic. That's what Google has done here, and they've pretty much been able to replicate the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro design and bring it down to their affordable flagship in the Pixel 6a. Okay, and I say affordable flagship because based on the content that I've been watching and the performance tests that I've been watching, it pretty much performs just like the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. Is just in a smaller, more affordable package. So some of y'all could say it's a mid-range device, some of y'all could say it's a budget flagship device, some of y'all can say it's a flagship killer device. To each his own. To me, I would say it's a mid-range / budget small device, but however y'all want to say it, that's how y'all could say it. But we have pretty much a metal mid-frame with Gorilla Glass 3 and a plastic back, whereas with the Pixel 6 we got a glass on glass sandwich with the latest and greatest in Gorilla Glass Victus, and we have a metal mid-frame. Alright, now both of these devices are waterproof. The Pixel 6a is IP6 67, and the Pixel 6 is IP68. So not as waterproof as the main flagship devices, but still it's basically the same. You could drop it in up to a meter of water for 30 minutes and it will be okay. Just make sure everything is dried out and there's no residual water anywhere, and your device should work just fine. Okay, good stuff there. Now both of these devices do support dual SIM technology. That's one physical nano SIM and one eSIM. Okay, so depending on your carrier, if your carrier does support eSIM technology, you may be able to get that dual SIM experience. Or if you're a Google Fi customer, you don't have to use your physical SIM. You could just load up the eSIM software and you're good to go. So it is really cool to see that you get the dual SIM experience with these devices. That's especially good if you're going to be traveling overseas. All right. Now let's keep it moving. Now, talking about the displays here, this is where we're going to run into a big first difference. The 6A has a 6.1 inch 60 hertz OLED display, whereas the 6 has a 6.4 inch AMOLED 90 hertz HDR10 plus display. Now they're both running at 1080p plus, but you can see the bigger display is definitely on the 6. So in terms of pixels per inch, it's gonna be a little bit more worse for the wear on the 6, whereas you're gonna get a more tightly packed display on the 6A. But they're both 1080p displays, right? Now, everyone is making this big fuss over, oh, I can't believe Google went with the 60 hertz. I can't believe they didn't do a 90 hertz or a 120 hertz on their 6A. Everybody is making this big fuss. Oh, it's not super fast resolution, so it's a budget device. No. Let me share my opinions here, okay? I have had the opportunity, well, I've spent a lot of money and experienced the higher refresh rate displays, and if I'm being honest, my eyes could not distinguish a difference. And I've said that to y'all before in video. I could not distinguish a difference in performance or look between a regular 60 hertz display or a high refresh rate display, so 120, 144, so on and so forth. I couldn't distinguish the difference. But I did notice that the higher refresh rate display did beat up on the battery. So 9 times out of 10, I was more inclined to turn off the higher refresh rate and rock it at a more reasonable 60 hertz to save battery. Case in point, when I checked out the OnePlus Nord devices, which rock at 90 hertz displays on the low ends, couldn't really see a difference, aside from the fact that they were beating up my battery. So I just turned it off. So it really doesn't make a difference, at least in my opinion. Now, this is my opinion, between using a regular 60 hertz display or a high refresh rate 120 hertz or 144 hertz display. It doesn't make a difference. A good display is a good display. Like I always say when I do my comparison videos in real life, a good display is a good display. It doesn't matter if it's 720p, it doesn't matter if it's 1080p, 2K, 4K, it doesn't matter. What matters is the quality of the display and the experience. And based on what I'm seeing from the coverage and comparisons on the Pixel 6a compared to everything else, Google has gotten a really good standard 60 hertz display, and everybody seems to really be enjoying it. Yes, it's not high refresh rate, but it doesn't really make a difference. Okay? But there is the difference in the technology, so OLED versus AMOLED, and there is a difference in what you can do or what you can watch on the display with standard HDR versus HDR plus. So you're going to get more colors represented with the HDR plus display from the Pixel 6, whereas you're still going to get a good experience with the regular HDR display on the Pixel 6a, which it can't reproduce as many colors. And I say that, but it's still producing billions of colors on the display. It really doesn't make a difference anyway. But yeah, and then you have the difference in display sizes. So 6.1 versus 6.4. Okay, and display technology. Gorilla Glass 3 versus Gorilla Glass Victus, but they're both 1080p 20:9 aspect displays, and they both have access to always on display as well. Now, also, let me get into my first gripe here with the software and the features on the Pixel devices. Now, they both have really good front-facing cameras, but you can't use Face Unlock. Why, Google? I know it's not as secure, but it's more of a convenience and speed thing. And they both have under-display optical fingerprint sensors, and this is where the Pixel 6a takes the W in my opinion, because it seems like Google has ironed out all their issues with the hardware and the software calibration for the under-display fingerprint sensor on the Pixel 6a, because little to no creators or customers are having issues with their under-display fingerprint sensors, and in terms of reliability it seems to be really good, whereas they have released a slew of updates for the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro to clean up the fingerprint sensor on that device, and it's still hit or miss. So this is the point where I would say, Google, see, kudos on fixing your mistakes, but if you offered Face Unlock as a nice secondary unlock option, you know, you wouldn't get as much backlash from a lot of customers or creators talking about it's not working as good as it should, or it's not working as fast as it should. That's why you need other unlocking convenient options. All right, so I just wanted to share my opinions right there. Now, moving on, we already talked about the the software. Now let's get into some differences with the hardware. My bad. In terms of the internal chip, there is no difference. They're both running their co-developed in-house processor developed with Google and Samsung in the Google Tensor chip. Okay, so these are both running flagship chips. All right, but where they do differ is the RAM and storage options available. With the Pixel 6a, you're only getting one RAM storage option, 6 GB of RAM, 120 GB of onboard storage, no micro SD card expansion across the board. Now they're both rocking the same speed internal storage in UFS 3.1, so it really is a flagship experience on your Pixel 6a. All right, but with the Pixel 6, you're getting 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of onboard storage, or 256 gigs of onboard storage for basically $100 more, right? So the base variant for the 6 is 128, and that's $149. That's available for $449 right now. Or you can spend the extra $100, $549, and get that 256. All right. But if you're good with storage management, 128 gigs of onboard storage should be okay. No micro SD card expansion on either of these. All right. Now let's keep it moving here. I love how I put on Do Not Disturb and YouTube videos still pop up. Now, let's keep moving though, but Tech Odyssey dropped another video. I'm gonna have to check that out later. Good stuff, bro. But moving on now, we're gonna get into some of the major key differences in hardware between the 6A and the 6. All right, moving on to the camera hardware. Now, with the 6, okay, you are rocking a 50 megapixel primary, a 12 megapixel ultra wide. Okay. So you got two cameras on the rear, 50 megapixel and 12 megapixel. 50 megapixel primary, 12 megapixel ultra wide. All right. Whereas with the 6A, you have a dual 12 megapixel setup. So 12 megapixel primary, 12 megapixel ultra wide. Now, the 6A is rocking the same sensors from the Pixel 1, Pixel 2, Pixel 3, Pixel 4, Pixel 5, okay? Whereas the Pixel 6 is rocking the newer sensors that Google decided to go with the 50 megapixel and the 12 megapixel for the rear. But you can see they can record basically the same thing. So 4K up to 60 frames per second, or 1080p up to 240 frames per second slow motion. All right, and they both have the same crazy good stabilization. Trust me, I've watched a bunch of comparison videos. The stabilization on the 6A and the 6 is really good, and the audio coming off of the video cameras, yes, it's really good stuff. Now, based on what I've seen, the audio seems to be a little bit better on the Pixel 6A versus the Pixel 6, but to each his own. Your guys and gals' ears may hear something different than what my ears hear, okay? So that's the main difference in camera hardware for the rear, okay? A 12 and 12 versus a 50 and 12, all right? So you're getting a slightly newer sensor on the 6 versus the 6A, but Google has been using the sensors on the 6A for so long, they have it pretty much ironed out to a perfect science. And honestly, looking at the comparisons, I see little to no difference between the photo and video samples on the 6 versus the 6A. Now, some content creators say that you can notice a slight difference in quality, but based on what I see, they look pretty much the same. All right, I am a content creator, but I'm pretty much an average user first and a content creator second, and I'm just going to share my opinions as I see them. Okay, so I really can't see a difference. Okay, now moving on, they are packing the same selfie camera at 8 megapixels, and it's maxing out at 1080p 30 FPS for the selfie camera. Okay, so if you want the more higher resolution selfie camera, you're gonna have to bump up to the 6 Pro. That's gonna cost you another $150 for the bump up. Okay, but in all honesty, 8 megapixels is still really good, and again, based on the comparisons that I've seen, it is a really good experience. And I'm only making this video because, again, I'm really trying to decide between if I want to pick up the iPhone 11 and I want to pick up another device. So I'm trying to decide if I want to pick up the Pixel 6 or the 6A. And in all honesty, I'm leaning more towards the 6A because that's a more comparable screen size to the iPhone 11. All right. And in terms of pocket size or pocket weight, they're much more closer in price. But I still wanted to do this comparison because the 6A and the 6 are extremely close in price. $1, $2. Yeah, I figured we got to get this comparison in. Now, so they're both rocking the same 8 megapixel front facing cameras, maxing out at the same resolutions, 1080p 30 FPS, and they both have stereo speaker setups with no 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. That is gone for the 6A. So the last A series device from Google Camp that has the headphone jack is going to be the 5A or the 4A. no more headphone jack going on with your 6A. All right, so they're bringing it closer in line with their flagship devices or premium flagship devices in the 6 and the 6 Pro. All right, so moving on, they both have the same Bluetooth and Wi-Fi setups. So AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.2. So really no differences there. We already went over the storage. UFS 3.1. They both rocking USB Type-C 3.1 with the 18 watt. Please tell me it's not 18 watt, Google. Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's 18 watts versus 21 watts. So that's your next difference there in the charging speeds. And we also have a slight difference in the battery size. So the 6A is rocking a 4410 milliamp hour battery, whereas the 6 is rocking a 4614 milliamp hour battery. Now the 6 has 21 watt wired fast charging, whereas the 6A has 18 watt wired fast charging with direct power delivery. You can see they're both rocking out with 3.0 fast direct power delivery charging. But the next difference here is the 6 also has wireless charging. Okay, at I think it's 15 or 10 watts. 15 watts if you get the Google wireless charger, 10 watts if you're using a regular wireless charger. So that's the next difference in hardware right there. You do get wireless charging on the 6, whereas you don't get it on the 6A. But you can see they're both rocking the under display fingerprint sensors, as I said, and everything else is about the same. Okay, and if we scroll down here, you can see the color options, which are again basically about the same. Great. Now I gotta gray out some sensitive information because I turn on do not disturb and it still pops up in the video. Damn. So now I gotta gray out some sensitive information that popped up. Damn. Alright, but yeah, you can see, carrying on. Okay, you can see they both basically offer the same color options. So sort of sage, they're just calling it regular sage on the 6A, chalk, and then white. So black, white, and a light green. Both available on your 6A, your 6, or your 6 Pro. All right, gotta love Google's color options there. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. So aside from the fact that you're getting a better main sensor, on paper at least, based on what I see in the testing and what the content creators have put out, now I'm tempted to just save up the money and pick up both devices so I can do my own comparisons. But man, that's going to take me a long time. But technically on paper, the only real difference between the 6 and the 6A, other than the protection, the display technology, is the fact that one offers faster charging, faster wired charging at 21 watts versus 18 watts, and one offers wireless charging versus no wireless charging on the other one. So you have a slightly bigger display, you have newer cameras, you have technically, arguably, a better display with better protection versus a little bit older display protection, a little bit smaller display, no wireless charging, all that stuff there. But, and this is a big but, you do have what is arguably a better fingerprint technology on the newer device versus the older one. So it really is up to y'all what you want. But being as I said, the prices were so close, I felt compelled to make this video. But now, in my opinion, which one would I pick up with the prices being so close? I don't know, y'all. Now I'm kind of tempted to pick up both. All right, because I'm pretty much picking up an iPhone because that's coming from my main carrier, and I'm gonna get that on a great monthly deal. So y'all be on the lookout because that iPhone unboxing is coming out soon. But I do want to have a stock Android device, although I've been rocking the 10s and the SE for a really long time. I feel like it's not a fair comparison to have an iPhone and a Galaxy, because in terms of software, Galaxy devices can do so much more than iOS devices. I feel like a better or a more fair comparison would be iOS to Pixel, okay? Because Pixel, you pretty much have what you have, and you can add or remove what you want as you see fit, and that's the same way it is on iPhone. You have what you have, and you can add within reason what you want, or you could take away what you don't use as you see fit. So I feel like it will be a more fair comparison for me to have a iPhone device in the iPhone 11 versus a Pixel device, whether it is the Pixel 6 or the 6a, and then have my Galaxy device as my main content creation device with my Galaxy Tab S6. So I will be doing a bulk of the recording with the S10e and all of the editing with the Tab S6, but on the daily we will be rocking an iPhone 11 and or a Pixel 6a or a Pixel 6. So now I'm very torn between, should I get the 6a or should I get the 6? I don't know. It's a struggle, and the prices are so close. And then I could just dead the whole argument by just taking a little bit of extra time and saving up enough money for both and buying both. So that this whole comparison argument would be dead. But that would take so long that I don't know. But you know, with me, it's not about being first. It's about reporting my experience and, you know, just giving y'all my opinions and being as helpful with the information that I put out as possible and trying to save y'all as much money as possible. That's what making my content is all about: information and saving money. So it is what it is. Wow, I probably made this video super long. I do apologize, y'all. When I'm really into something, I tend to lose track of time because I really enjoy it. But I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video. I hope y'all found it helpful, and let's get into a nice respectful conversation about how y'all feel about these devices. So what are y'all thoughts? Would you go with the 6 over the 6a? Or do you feel like the 6a offers just enough for it to be the more affordable option over the 6, especially considering how close they are in price right now? Let's get into that conversation. Let's keep it respectful. Down below in the comments, I'll meet you guys and gals down there. That being said, I hope everyone is having a great day. I hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there, and I will catch everyone in the next one. We're out of here. Have a good one, everybody. Peace. Damn, do not disturb not working in the video, man. Come on, man. All right, we're out of here. Peace.